What's going on, Arsenal fans? Welcome to the boring season right now. This period is very boring right now. Every time, Premier League ends, it's like you don't have anything to watch. You don't have a lot of stuff to watch and a lot of options anyway. But what do? We just have to wait. The World Cup is around the corner. It starts on the 11th of June. First game is going to be Mexico versus South Africa and also South Korea, Czech Republic. So um, that is something we're going to be watching and, keep an eye on all Arsenal players. And also, we are linked with a lot of players right now. But before we buy, we need to get rid of a lot of players. We have a lot of issues with the left wing, Trossard and Martinelli. They have not been in a very good position, good form, compared to 2 years ago or even the last year, the 2024-2025 season. Martinelli was really good. His performance is dropped. You know what I mean? Even Trossard, this season I think Trossard was much more better. You know what I mean? Than Martinelli, especially in the Premier League. Martinelli did well in the Champions League, but in the Premier League, it was average. His performances compared to like what we used to see. So we have two position. In my opinion, I think we have two position that we need to like really, really work on when going to the next Premier League. If we want to retain the title and if we want to really win the Champions League, because I think with the trajectory that Mikel Arteta are going, he's on right now. He was the first time it was quarterfinal eliminated. The second time it was in semi-final. We were eliminated. This time it was in the final. So the next time, and I think Mikel Arteta, I'm telling you, I like his trajectory. You know what I mean? He slowly but surely, and I think this coming season, the Champions League is a must, and we're going to win the Champions League. You know what I mean? But we have, like I said, we have a lot of players that are potentially, and I think they are going to leave the season, and you might see some maybe one or two surprises of players that will leave the team. You know what I mean? Um, Let me just switch this. First player I think will leave is Fábio Vieira. He didn't get a lot of play time. He was on loan, and I think he's going to go back to Porto, and he is currently seeking for a permanent transfer right now. So I think he might leave because he's a very good player in my opinion, but he need consistency. Then a lot of players, they don't have the physicality like the Bernardo Silva to play in the Premier League, but what they have is the football brain. They play with their brain instead of their physicality. So, well, he lacks consistency, and I think he's going to leave. And another player, I don't know. I think this is going to be either Martinelli or Trossard because you need experience and you need someone who has been playing right there. Even if you're going to get a new left wing player, you need someone who has played there that can the new player will learn from. And I think either Trossard or Martinelli, one of them are going to leave. You know what I mean? And definitely, I think Gabriel Jesus will leave because he has been affected a lot by injuries, long-term injuries, and I think if when you get to that position, you need to make a decision and compare his age right now. I think he's going to leave as well. Another player that is going to leave, I think, is Martin Odegaard. No, well, I mean, with this, he's been linked with Bayern Munich, and the talk is that you've seen like a lot of time he has been substituted. So he's currently not happy. And also, when you think about the leadership dilemma right now, some fans will say Declan Rice needs to be the captain of the team, and some fans, I like Martin Odegaard. Whatever happened, I want him to stay because he's the only player that can like really do those threaded passes, you know, most of the time drive the team forward. When it comes to like pressing up forward, he triggers the pressing. So I personally like him, even though this season his form dropped due to injuries. I personally like him, but we've been linked with another player again, which is Morgan Rogers, and even that, what you call it, Eze is in that position. Eze, I think, when you get to a new team, even though he has been with Arsenal and he went and came back, you had to take time for you to settle down. He played really well in some games, and some games is just average. So, while I actually like Martin Odegaard, his play. So I don't know. He might stay, might leave. He's been linked to Bayern Munich. So only time will tell, and we'll see. With Calafiori, we don't want to sell him. Ateta likes him, but Bayern Munich, as the election, Florentino Perez won the election, and Mourinho likes Calafiori because he's a versatile player. He can play in the mid. He can play, on the right back, or he can also like play in a position in the the fullback position, either 4 or 5. So um, Mourinho likes a versatile player like him, and he's tall, and it gives you a lot of versatility in that defense. So he's another player that's linked with a move to Real Madrid, and so let's see what will happen after the election, and most importantly after the World Cup. Like I mentioned earlier on, Martinelli also is his form dropped compared like a season ago or two. His form dropped a lot. So this is like really, really one player I think that might leave because he's young. He's 24 right now. If you want to sell him, he's going to like you're going to like get a lot of money from him. Compared to Trossard because of the age. One player that we've definitely signed is Jeremy. His name is Jeremy Monga. Um, is Jeremy Monga. Is a right wing player. That's the position Saka played. So he's going to come and go. He's 15 plus. So he's going to come and go straight to the academy. He's been highly rated. He was bought for 13 million pound from Leicester. He's England international, and he's 5'11". He's very fast. He can take on. He's not afraid to take on any player. So he's going to go to the academy not academy with to the Elan Road to get more improvement. Oh, let's go to my dream signing right now. The midfield, we know when it comes to the midfield, what's his name? Zubimendi. Of late, the last 5 or 6 games, Arteta has to switch from Zubimendi to Luis Kelly because Zubimendi he started really well, then his form dropped seriously. So for me, this guy is a Premier League proven, and I think if we have Tonelli, he's going to bring stability because ever since Thomas Partey left the club, we don't have any midfielder that can put his stamp in that midfield so that he can release Declan Rice and also Martin Odegaard. So for me, this would be my dream signing, and it's been linked. And if you all could remember, the January transfer, he was heavily linked to Arsenal because I know like he want to go to a club that can win the Premier League, can challenge for titles. I don't think Newcastle are in that position right now. And if you look at Newcastle, they've been buying all their top players. Anthony Gordon already gone to Barcelona. Isaac last season. So this will be one of my dream signing. Or if we cannot get him, I think if we get this guy, Chouameni, we all know the saga right now in Madrid. The last time they had an issue, Chouameni and Valverde, and I think they are going to sell one of them, either Valverde or Chouameni. But I think if we have a Chouameni, he will be like the giant stand right in the middle of the midfield to protect the defense and give a lot when it comes to going forward. He's been linked to Manchester United and a whole other host of clubs. But I think if we sign this, either Tonelli is a Premier League proven player. Chouameni don't have any Premier League experience. But I think if we cannot get Tonelli, we get Chouameni. That would be really good to put more, give option or be the first team player of the midfield for that sixth position. When it comes to the wing, the left wing, we've been linked to Kopi as well. He's a breakout player. No one knows him. He came from France for I think Lorient to Bournemouth. He scored a lot of goals. He's been a brilliant player for them. We are heavily linked with Kopi as well from Bournemouth. So let's keep an eye on this as well. And another player that we link with, even though I don't know if we can get him, is Julián Álvarez of Atletico Madrid. He's heavily linked with a move to Barcelona, but Barcelona already bought this guy Anthony Gordon. But I think and right now, and Barcelona don't have a lot of money, so now they're wiggling their ways and to find a way to sign Julián Álvarez. And there's a lot of issues going on with Julián Álvarez moving to Barcelona. But I'll be bringing in-depth stories about these players individually, players that are linked to Arsenal, players that are potentially will leave Arsenal as well. Surprise. I think Ben White also, he has been ravaged by injuries and everything. I think he is one player as well that personally I think it's time for him to move, sell him, cash him out, and find invest in another player that is not that injury prone or what's not. So with the outgoing and incoming of players, potentially ingoing and outgoing, let me know which player is your dream signing, or which player you think will definitely leave, or which player you think okay, yeah, this one needs to stay because he has given a lot to the club. Leave your comments below till we meet again when I'll be bringing you a Transfer Daily Arsenal special. Let's go Gunners.